out your engine, boy.
Okay, we get it.
I'm gonna pray. And whoop.
Boy.
I thought he'd go.
Shake my hand!
Boy!
Fire there!
Wait, do it again. Do it again. Give me a high five. Give me a high five. High five.
Boy.
All right.
Shake my hand!
Now!
All right.
I was just trying to start.
So
Just a reminder, after reading for me, I need to make things right, okay?
Go ahead. Do you think I want to get some other stuff?
okay, I'm gonna pray.
Yeah,
There you go.
so is it up?
It's like an old song I grew up. You raise me up. And I just
Yeah.
my seat just
That's
rises up.
there's a soundboard and it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Good old Josh Brogan, I think.
Is that who sings that?
I think so.
Hmm. All right.
Uh-oh.
King Jesus, your home amazing. As we step into the time that we recognize as clingers of Jesus, that this is around the time you were born. We thank you that you have chosen the path of humble. That you, in your all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, I'm praying, that you chose. Let's be serious now. That you chose to come down in human form. And in that human form, you were vulnerable. No one with power will step down from having all power and then going into pretty much giving your freedom up to others to take care of you. That's some crazy humbleness. And we say that that's what you did, our God. And we thank you for this. So may we just embody your humbleness, embody your love, embody your service. Because the more that we use our muchness, as we learned from the video today, we become more like you. We dedicate our entire being to you. Amen.
I was so just gonna.
So I take it you were discussing the word holy.
Mm-hmm.
Pal.
You were muching.
Mm-hmm.
Red corn pie.
No,
Oh, Pat.
they sent it to the next galaxy.
Charlie, if you even try to touch him, Ethan's gonna pull his hat down like this and say, "You dare try to mess with me?"
Now, we ain't very kind of people like
Oh,
you
yeah?
around here.
Oh,
All right.
We don't
Enough
like your
messing
kind
around.
here.
enough messing around.
Ethan.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But Yahweh's aid called to him from the heavens and said, But Yahweh's aid called to him from the heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, I'm here. He said, don't reach out your hand to the boy. Don't do anything to him, because I now know that you revere God. You have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Abraham looked up and saw there a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. Abraham named that place Yahweh sees, so that it is said today, on Yahweh's mountain it is seen. Yahweh's aid called to Abraham a second time from the heavens, and God said, By myself I swear, Yahweh's proclamation, that because you have done this thing and not withheld your son, your only one, I will bless you abundantly and make your offspring very numerous. so that they are like the stars in the heavens and the sand that is on the seashore. Your offspring will take over their enemy's city, and all the nations on the earth will bless themselves by your offspring, because you listened to my voice. Abraham then went back to his boys, and they set off and went together to Beersheba. So Abraham lived at Beersheba. So this is the buying of Isaac. Yep. And so he's about...
Boy, get out of here.
Boy. So he stretched out his hand about to... He pretty much fulfilled the test. He did not hold back. And here Yahweh... Because, throughout, as we read Abraham's story, there's a lot of times he did not pass the test. But here, he passed the test. And Yahweh blessed him. All right. Is it anything stood out to you? Anything you liked? Booga booga. All right. How about you, Ethan? Anything that you liked stood out to you?
Lot like sudden.
Mm.
Has to be redemption.
Mm. Okay.
No. He just found this
But
dog.
it kind of looks like there's a redemption offering that went on right here.
Mm-hmm.
You see with the Exodus Passover sacrifice. It's basically a redemption offering, which is why you also see redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have like it specifies donkeys. You can kind of see that connection to people
Mm-hmm.
during the Passover, Israelites. Both of them were
Mm-hmm.
And so, basically with redemption offerings, you weren't going to redeem the donkey. We're going to redeem it. You would offer lamb. And so, with Israelites, Passover essentially had just that going on. The Israelites were redeemed. So they had the lamb slaughtered. Egyptians were not. Lives extinguished.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do end up seeing later, like, the consequences of that. It's in Deuteronomy 14, verse 1. Didn't have sons.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in this instance, you can kind of see, like, that decision of what God might be tested towards. Like, he's seeing if Abraham is really focused on God.
Yeah.
And so he's, like, in that instant, almost deciding whether or not to.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't. I think.
Yeah.
But he did, and then there was the ram.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what kind of stood out to me. So, I need to look into that.
Yeah, so you're seeing a connection between from the very last plague, the plague of the firstborn, one who pretty much says Yahweh is their God. They were given an opportunity to smear lamb's blood on their doorpost, which that doorpost also makes you think of the Garden of Eden, the gate that went into the garden. And so since Yahweh saved the firstborns of the Israelites, from there on out, all their firstborns belonged. Human firstborns, animal firstborns all belong to Yahweh.
Yep.
And so you're seeing a connection between the ram and this moment where Abraham pretty much had to give his firstborn, which is kind of in the literature.
Technically, it's a secondborn, but it's
It's
considered the firstborn.
yeah. Right now, he's actually not. This is before Sinai covenant law because he's treating his secondborn as firstborn. But still, you see where a ram was given in his stead. I like the connection. I'll have to ponder on that.
Commentary.
Okay. As the in 1969, as the Vietnam War reached its peak, the Canadian Jewish poet. Can you step closer?
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Are you dressed yet?
In 1969, as the Vietnam War reached its peak, the Canadian Jewish poet and songwriter Leonard Cohen recorded a song about the story of Isaac. The first two verses imaginally retell the story from Isaac's angle, but then the song ricochets into addressing people who are building altars now for the sacrifice of children. It closes, "Have mercy on our uniform, man of peace or man of war." The peacock spreads his fan. The reference to the peacock suggests a link with the poem of Wilfred Owen's Parable of the Young Man and the Old. It too begins by retelling the story from Genesis 22, but ricochets Abraham building parapets and trenches and binding Isaac with belts and straps. The angel then calls from heaven, points to the ram of pride, caught in a thicket, and bids him sacrifice that instead. But the old man would not so, but slew his son and half the seed of Europe one by one. My mother's oldest sister, who had been a teenager just after the end of that war, used to talk about the way there simply were not enough boys to go around in Britain then. Too many had been killed. That was a really dark read right there. All right. A young friend of mine has just been deployed to Iraq. He is a chaplain, but his position does not carry action from the dangers of deployment. I believe that no chaplains have been killed in Iraq. No one guaranteed that this will always be so. And chaplains do get injured and affected by the stress like combatants. Modern societies more or less accept the way countries go to war against each other and accept that their young men and women pay the biggest price for that. In theory, at least, the young men and women know that when they enlist, Isaac will not struggle was that he had analogous awareness. The Old Testament condemns the sacrifice of children. But one reason it does so is that Israelites, like other Middle Eastern peoples, did sometimes sacrifice their children, as we do in sending them off to war. Perhaps Isaac will know in this, whether or not that is so. One significance of the story for people hearing it will imply God does not ask for that sacrifice. God has looked the idea in the face and turned away from it. God provides for the sacrifice of a ram instead. Like many stories in the Old Testament, this story is not designed to give us an example of something we should do or might have to do, or an example of something we should not do. Anything, it is the opposite. It is an episode from the unique history of what God was doing to Abraham. It is not something that ever need be repeated. There is an exemption to that statement. The event was repeated. And that time there was no ram in the thicket. At Jesus' baptism, God said to him, "You are my son, whom I love, with whom I am well pleased." The words echo the ones that commissioned Abraham in Genesis. To echo the description of God's servant Isaiah 42. The offered Jesus an understanding of significance that is both affirming and solemn. God did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all. God put a monumentally hard demand on Abraham, but it was an exemption God was also prepared to fulfill. So the binding of Isaac, is that something that we are called ever to practice or not practice? No. The only time Yahweh go, it's done is when it's his own self son. But Abraham has demonstrated that he is willing to do what eventually God will actually do. God calls out to him with some urgency. At the beginning of the story, Genesis told a spoken person. Here, the way the aid goes on to speak suggests that, in effect, the aid is God. The aid also speaks of Abraham not withholding his son from me. This way of relating events reoccurs when the Old Testament speaks about God or God's appearing and speaking, and it can seem confusing. What it does is both affirm the reality of God's actual speaking to Abraham and safeguard the fact that if God, in the full sense, spoke to a human being, then it would have an effect like the loudest thunder there could ever be. It will destroy Abraham's hearing. God really speaks, but in muted form. As elsewhere, God really appears, but does so in veiled form. The aid comes to reaffirm God's promise to Abraham in even brighter technicolor in light of his passing his test. Naming the mountain gives the audience several things to think about. Abraham had declared his conviction that God would see to the need for an animal to sacrifice, and God did that. So this is a place where Yahweh sees, in the sense of looking out for people and seeing that needs are met. Abraham's name for the place also echoes Hagar's name for God as the one who looks for me, or the one who sees me. Furthermore, this mountain is located in the area of Moriah. While we do not know the actual origin of that name, it resembles words for seeing. So the name itself would remind people that this is the place where God saw in that connection. And if Moriah, or Yahweh's mountain, is the mountain where the temple was, this is the place that people know as one where they and their needs are seen and attended to. Out of the context, one might translate the phrase as knowing that on Yahweh's mountain he is seen. This is where God appears, where you can meet with God. The golden dome shrine on the site of the temple in Jerusalem is placed over the site, revered before Muslim times as the place where Abraham made his offering. Though in Muslim tradition, it is Ishmael whom Abraham agrees to offer, and it happens in Mecca. But why did God need to test Abraham? The story again makes us ask whether God does not know how a person like Abraham would react to a command of this kind. Sometimes tests happen for the benefit of the person being tested. If the man I referred to in relationship experiences sexual temptation again and resists it, he will have learned something about himself. But this story is explicit that the testing happens so God can discover something. That was so at the beginning reference to testing. It was so when the aid bade Abraham halt the sacrificial act. Now I know that you revere God. You have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. The Bible ignores the logic of the question of whether God could not know how a person like Abraham would react if he had this demand placed on him. Perhaps God could indeed know how Abraham would react, but God does not relate to us and to the world by mind games played inside God's head. It is one thing to know that someone who loves you will do anything for you because of that. It is another kind of knowing when that person actually makes a monumental sacrifice for you. All right, so that, by the grace of King Jesus, that was a lot.
Oh my God, seems pretty fitting right now.
And that's deep. So, just know that the binding of Isaac story is it can be a difficult thing to work through. And that's okay. A lot of people actually have to wrestle through that. Why would God ask Abraham to sacrifice his son? But here we have Yahweh who steps down and tests Abraham. And now we have Abraham as an example of faith. And I'm always always here if you guys want to talk about and work through it. Is there any quick thoughts from you things? I could tell these boys are ready to move on.
Just a little.
I do like how this instance in scripture has kind of inspired a lot of poetry and songs throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
The reference to those, and then also just like
You like the history here of people who have worked through this in their own poetry. Nice. Well, thank you, Ethan. All right, we got an hour.
Cool.
an hour.
So long. I don't know if I can survive that long.
We gotta do.
All right, so as Zach. Test. There we go. Yes, perfect. Oh my gosh. I really want to beat this. No. Ah. All right.
Yeah. Hey. Let's try to go back. Yeah, yeah. Stay there. It's perfect, man.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Reason why. Tires on here.
Forget it.
When you're going 400 miles an hour with really grippy tires, let's just say it's not the best. I can't. Why don't they make reverse nitro? That'd be fun. Yeah, where you can reverse instead of going forward. I wish there was time to do it full size.
All right, is your thing done?
Right.
Okay.
Well, this car is so tuned that it just goes on its own. It isn't. Ever.
It's okay.
It's alright. These drift tires, they really need to have size. Not even to this curve. Not listening to that Yuki Cutter. Diarrhea curve. Actually got a competition.
Oh snap! My game all of a sudden started running really good. Wow. Hmm. Yeah.
Wanna join me?
No. That game is a game.
Oh, your mouse is way over there. That's fine.
Yeah. It's like puts it over there.
Yeah, I was tapping. I forgot I was just doing a quick fix and didn't even think about. Why not? Ah.
Oh, I keep on getting lagged.
Hear that?
A lot of lags.
I have no idea what will be causing it. Oh. I just got chomped. Oh, you know what?
It's not even like lag, it's just like lag spikes.
Yeah. Can't Windows?
Hold on a second.
Can you... Yeah, I see what's happening. Alright, so that's a lesson learned. So this is not giving enough power to keep this going. So it's a little bit too late in the day. Next time I'll make sure to have my charger plugged into it because I was expecting this to do it, but this is not be able to handle all of it.
Okay.
So sorry.
It's okay. It's not like lag, but it's just like
Yeah.
every little bit I'll get like a lag spike. It's not that big of a deal though. I'm gonna put this again and hope that works. This not work.
Is the lag spike not working for what's happening?
No, it's just the game.
Okay.
Are you gonna join me? Oh. It's gonna be between you and this. Cool kid. Yeah, Corey, I think it's just that game.
Okay.
Forsaken.
Good to hear.
Yeah, Corey, I don't know what it is, but like, although the lag every so often, like ever since the lag spikes just started a little bit ago, my game is running super smoothly.
Yeah, it's a simple power thing. For some reason, Forsaken was like right now that my device is seeing enough power to do everything that we're requesting it,
Yes.
and so it's so like they'll be fixed next time you're around. It's just way too late in the day to try fixing it now.
No, like what I'm saying, it's running very, very smooth, like smoother than it has been the entire time. The loss.
Yeah, I actually like literally now like it makes sense why you've been having all the issues.
I mean, it's just been like a little bit of lag before, but then it turned to lag spikes. I think it's trying to do it a little bit better.
Yeah. So yeah, next time, yeah, I'll have the actual charger for it, not having it go through the USB hub.
the lag. Oh my god. Yeah, Charlie, I can't do this, bro.
Does it get bad again?
Yeah, it's like.
Alright, I'll just give it to you.
No. I can just play something else. That's like not PvP.
be like that.
Bro, you know that we only have like 10 minutes left.
I know. So you don't want to plug it in?
Nah, it's alright.
Alright.
Next time, though. Like
Yeah.
next time. But we're good for now.
This is like, I've been doing it this way for so long because when I'm doing it just this, it's more than enough without me in the power. But with that, I never like, did not think about that. So sorry about that.
We're good. I'll just play something that is not required.
Oh god. That jumps crap.
Charlie, help! I'm getting jumped. Charlie. Okay, I'm not flying. There's no way. That is alright. Ow. Ow.
Oh, well, that was a good run. All right, I gotta get off. Catch you guys later.